Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of FilAM Creative's Voices. I'm Walter.
And I'm Arlyn.
And we have here is some of the guys from Filipino AF. We have Joy, Allyn, and Erich. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming to FilAM Creative's Voices.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, letters
excited.
in.
Great place. Thanks
I
for
love
having
letters.
us.
So, tell us about, tell us real quick about Filipino AF. Tell them what is it?
It's a variety show that we host at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in Hollywood, California. We bring together stand-ups, sketch writers, performers, musical comedy. Last show we had a magician, and then we always end it with a big improv group, and we try to get a special guest to come and give monologues to inspire the improv.
And what are your guys' roles within Filipino AF?
We are the hosts and producers, and we also perform usually.
Yeah.
So how did this come about? Because this is like the first like Filipino-centric show, really, that I've ever heard of. And so did you guys just all get together and kind of come up with the concept? And how did it all begin?
Like all great ideas, it started at a bar. Right? It started at Tabula Rasa. And then I just remember Joy coming up to me and pitching this thing. And
Yeah, was that an Asian AF after party, I
yes,
think?
exactly.
Yeah, and we had all just performed on a mess hall mashup team or something.
Yeah, Kilowatt.
Kilowatt, yeah.
The Asian AF show.
Yeah, and then I had produced PCN. You produced PCN too in college, right?
Yeah.
So I guess those are the OG all Filipino American shows.
Yeah.
And what school? What school though? Oh, Davis. There you go.
Berkeley.
Yeah.
Oh, we're enemy.
Joy actually pulled down the wire.
Rivalries never end.
That's what you get for claiming Davis.
Sorry.
Here's Berkeley.
My role is to keep them apart.
You should have sat right there.
Well, first.
But yeah, we kind of all had the idea that it would be amazing to do like all Filipino one because Asian AF had been going on for a while and it was really successful. And so we came to Will and asked him if he'd throw Asian AF behind it, and then so we all got together and made it happen.
Yeah.
Cool, and I remember when the first episode, we were so glad that you guys asked us to be a community sponsor. So we were so proud to be asked for that, your very first show.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We were like, what? They're doing a specific Filipino AF? That's cool.
Yeah, it was because when was the first show? What month was that? Was it
October
one.
last year.
Yeah,
For Filipino American History Month.
And I got to tell you guys like a little personal story, and so it was like so important for me to get out and like go watch something funny during that time period. I had just gone through a miscarriage, and it was like that night was my first night leaving my home in 2 weeks. I had been like sobbing, and when I went there, like when Auntie and Uncle came out, the characters, I was like dying. I was like the chick like heckling, like laughing in the audience. And it was so special for me. And then surrounded by like all my FilAM Creative family and watching you guys, like it was so touching. Like it kind of inspired me to just like, dude, like life has to go on. Like it's okay to laugh again, And so thank you guys so much.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Gosh, thanks for
So
sharing
touching.
that.
It's so great. Yeah.
And then the epic karaoke.
Oh my God,
That
the
was such
karaoke
a great
afterwards.
night.
Guys, I so needed that. Oh my God.
Thanks for coming.
I know.
That was lit.
I know.
Yeah,
It's been
it was
so
amazing.
great to like provide a space for people to come and just laugh for a while, and to like really get in touch with each other. Like there's some people that are regular performers that are maybe half Filipino, and I've talked to them and they're like, I don't really feel like in touch with it, but it's been nice to just be around and like getting in touch with their roots, surrounded by people who are like, we don't care if you're full or half. Like if you're down with it, we're down with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really like been this whole community, like well within the performers, but also the audience, and yeah, it's just like we knew each other, but like through this show, like we've really felt like a family in a way, Yeah.
And how do you feel like how has it been growing since that first performance until now? Like, how's your lineup been growing and just working with all these talent?
Yeah. I will say like that first show, especially in that space, the inner sanctum, because it's such a kind of toss up of like how many people will come, because it's kind of like, you know, the other theater at UCB and like
It's
regular.
huge. If you haven't been there, it's like a
space.
huge space. It's
And,
like
like-
almost like a cathedral.
Yeah,
how
it's like a
huge it is.
cavern, and if you don't fill it up, it feels, you can tell, it feels really
Yeah.
And there are
empty.
shows every single night, and usually shows will get like maybe just the performers are in the audience. Maybe there's like a handful of people watching. So coming up to that first show, it was like, if like 20 people show up, that'll be great. And then I think our first show was 280 people.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was
We were
so
like, it was just like, holy shit, people want this.
Yeah.
Like we did it.
And people
want
are
this.
laughing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
I loved about that first show too is the diversity. It wasn't just you know, Filipino or our aunts or whatever, right? It was like friends and their friends and just the, you know, outside of Filipino community. As like the support was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I was so
Totally.
glad that all those Filipino girls brought their white boyfriends.
I know.
I forgot mine. Sorry.
But also like just a lot of like outside of UCB being able to draw that audience, because it's so hard sometimes, because like, you know, our day-to-day lives are just kind of, we just hang around the same group of people.
Yeah.
So to be able to like reach out and find more people to bring into the show as performers or what have you, it's been great to know that, you know, we're here. we're
yeah,
here,
we're
y'all.
here, and yeah.
Individually, like how are you guys, you know, developing your talent as an improv or an actor? Like, what do you guys do when you're not performing in Filipino AF?
I will say that like Asian AF and like Filipino AF, both shows have been so like pivotal for me as a comedian, because one, it like provided me a space to be like, oh, like if I'm myself, people are still gonna laugh, and then bringing that into shows that are not Asian centric or Filipino centric, that kind of energy is so empowering, because you know, I'm not afraid now to bring my own specifics to majority white crowd, because it's like at the end of the day, like I'm funnier if I own up to my own self. Like, and like that's the importance of these kind of shows. It's owning up to your true self. Yeah.
Yeah, same. It's been helpful in like the exercise of not censoring myself, because
Yeah.
especially in improv and like sketch classes, coming up over the years, it's been like, okay, like kind of going through the process in my head of like, okay, well, I can't say certain things because maybe people won't get it. But then like going to Asian AF and Filipino AF and just kind of talking about balikbayan boxes or lumpias, or, you know, my lola making Milo for me, and like people laughing at it, and then like being like, okay, yeah, like the same thing. My specifics are funny. If I'm true to myself, I'll be better.
Yeah,
And also-
white people do it all the time. And they get like I don't know what the specific brand is, but
I know. I think I said this on another time, but it was like our first show. We did like a whole set on like cotillions, and it was just like so freeing and empowering, because like coming up through the improv world, I've done so many bar mitzvah scenes, and I've never been to a bar mitzvah, but I've had to learn like what happens at them so that I could do these scenes. But it's like, y'all ain't gonna fucking learn what a cotillion is. Why should I like adhere to your standards if you're not gonna adhere to mine? Like, I'm just gonna be me and be real, and like you'll have to figure it out. Like I've had to figure it out my whole time here.
When I first started writing in college, and you know, I would write about my family and Filipino specifics, and I'd get these white writing teachers be like, "Why do you want to write about that? Why is this person Filipino?" I'm like, "Because I am, because I want to." And it was just like so tiring to have to explain why. Just why? Like, does anyone ask a white person why they make them white, or like why? Now we do, but does anyone ask a white person why do you want to tell that story? Because they do. Now it's like in vogue. You know, now people are like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Like your story's about a Filipino girl." I'm like, "Yeah." So it's like kind of funny to see how the world has changed too, like around us. And yeah, Filipino AF has shown me like I can crack these jokes, and they work.
What's the goal for Filipino AF? If you guys could envision anything, like what it would turn into, what would be the ultimate goal?
for me, it's a traveling
Yeah, I
show
was gonna
where
say that
it's
too.
like The bit answer is that we get sponsored by Carnival Cruises.
Oh my God.
Like, can you imagine? It's already like a perfect marriage, like Filipinos on a boat. I don't know.
Wait, that's happening now. You're gonna have to take a job from on a boat.
Oh man.
But yeah, something traveling, like
I
a
would
traveling
love that.
kind of situation where we just bring it to different cities that I don't want to see the show.
We've had some Instagram messages of people like, "Oh, bring this to DC or bring this to New York or whatever." So maybe.
And we're actually going to
sometime.
Hawaii in October.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be in Hawaii.
Oh.
October 20th, I think is the show.
October
Yeah,
20th.
guys. Yeah.
Because of you guys.
Because of us.
Hey, hang out.
I think for me, like shooting for the moon would be to have a show, like a TV
Oh,
show
yeah.
with
Yeah.
us. So like it could be like TFC or like mixed TV.
I know.
Or,
Comedy Central.
Yeah, Comedy Central.
If you're
Yeah,
listening.
I mean, yeah, something mainstream.
Y'all heard
too.
that? I know y'all watching. I know you people over there.
Hey, freeform.
Freeform.
YouTube Red.
Yeah.
YouTube Brown.
Amazon. Netflix.
We went there. We just went there.
But you don't get to travel like in a cruise ship.
Yeah, like you still holding up.
On third season.
My selfish dream to be on a cruise.
I know.
I'll just write it in.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. You get picked up by Hulu or whatever in third season. We're on a cruise, guys.
On a cruise. Just one sketch on a cruise.
One sketch on a cruise. And it's 3 years long.
I would go on that cruise.
Yeah. She got it.
Joy's like, how did you wrangle me?
I'm like, cruises are bad for the environment. But I'll go.
Yeah, wait till you get to see the buffet.
Oh man.
Filipinos love buffets.
So what other projects are you guys working on?
Right now I just finished a pilot about a dreamer, like one of the dreamers living in LA. So right now I'm just getting it to a place where I'm content with it, but I don't think I'll ever be like, oh, this is good. I'm always going to be tinkering with it, but I just want to keep writing stuff that's close to home and keep putting short films up or maybe a web series up pretty soon
Oh, excellent.
based around that. Yeah.
Outside of UCB, because I've been pretty busy being on a Herald team and a mod team, I've been trying to shoot more sketches with like friends. I have like one that we shot last weekend, and then this Sunday I have another one coming up that Joy's going to be in. So look out for it. Shout out to 7th grade. That's the sketch team that we're working with. And then also this Saturday I'm doing a pilot reading at UCB of like my first pilot that I've ever written, and I'm very nervous to kind of put it out there in public and get feedback on it. I think it'll be great. Yeah.
Staying busy.
Yeah.
I'm in a musical at Second City called Trump in Space. I didn't write it, but I'm in it. And I have a song. And I wrote a musical called Supportive White Parents. I did a number from it for our last show.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I didn't write the music for it, but I did write the lyrics and the book, the script. And I also have a script about a dreamer, but it's a screenplay, and it's based on it's fictional, based on a girl and her high school boyfriend, and and he's a dreamer, and just about it's like a indie, maybe mumblecore movie. I don't know.
Yes.
But like and one of those quirky coming of age films, except that the main character is a dreamer. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Where are y'all from? Are you guys from LA or?
From the Bay Area, East Bay, Hayward, Union City,
What?
510. What up?
Ronnie, I see you. Now we know.
That's a thing. Okay,
Nickel and
now I know.
dime, Hayward,
That's wild.
Haystack.
Yeah, I got one too. I'm from Orange County.
That's current.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. I needed that.
Eric, where are you from?
I was born in Leyte in the Philippines. So I don't know what dance they do there, but
Where
do
in
they
Leyte?
Palompon? That's where my mom's from.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 2 hours away, 2 or 3 hours away from Tacloban.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I know Tacloban because that's where MacArthur came back. He was like, "I shall return."
There's a
And
statue there.
There's a statue
At
there.
MacArthur Park.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I know that. But I moved out here to LA with my family in 2000. Yeah, to MacArthur Park.
Really?
That's so wild. Yeah. Right, MacArthur
That's
Park.
so random.
Yeah, you know, like by Alvarado, Westlake area.
I wonder. You should ask your
Can't
parents.
get away
too.
from MacArthur.
Ask your parents if that's intentional though. Like, did you guys know?
Transition smooth.
Yeah.
No, were you
wild.
guys as parents like pretty supportive of what you guys wanted to do and going into the
No.
into the arts and
Yeah, not in that, like, yes, but in that kind of like, yes, but also get a degree kind of way. Like hoping it'll kind of go by the wayside, but it never did. Sorry.
Yeah, my mom is I love her to death, and like when I was pursuing comedy through other places or at UCB, she was also telling me to get like a backup degree. Then at some point I wanted to go full hearted with this thing, and she's so loving, so supportive that she was like, okay, this is what you want to do, but I'm also gonna like nitpick at it like just a little bit, that way like it's like she's balancing it out. I know she loves it. she'll never say it out like that's a funny bit, but I think she's come around now, especially with the New York Times shout out.
Oh yeah.
oh wow.
Like,
Yeah, tell the folks about the New
Yeah.
York Times
Yeah,
article.
it's
Got a write up.
yeah, we
Yeah.
got well
Asian AF got a write up.
Asian AF.
And then there was a little shout out to Filipino AF,
yeah,
which was nice. Yeah.
the article
sentence.
was
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll take it.
But yeah.
What was the title on that? It was like
Like tired of being invisible.
Comics of Asian descent or something like
put
that.
themselves on stage.
Yeah. Oh, it's a
And
great article.
It's a great article. I mean, Filipino AF got a shout out, and I had told my mom that we got a shout out, and then I went to work and then came back and I saw her on Facebook like sharing it to all of her friends.
there
and
you
it's
go.
like,
That's how
it's
you
like
know
a
it's a
very like
compliment.
yeah, it's very like
Yeah.
As far as for me, it's just like she'll
Yeah.
do it on the low.
Yeah.
She just wanted something concrete.
Yeah.
That she can,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So she could
Cool with
show it off to her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. New York Times.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say my parents were the same. They gave me money, like they supported me financially. But yeah, they didn't. They were both doctors, and I was gonna take over my dad's clinic. So it was kind of like this thing. It was a shadow that hung over a Dementor that hung over my dad's my relationship. for a
Harry
while.
Potter, ever heard of it?
But yeah, things have gotten better when I can have tangible things to show them.
So something they can hang in their office, in the doctor's office.
Like commercials they can show to hit their nurses.
That's awesome. And you said your parents were just
Yeah,
kind
same.
of-
Yeah, that kind of same thing. I got like not random, but like I got put on a list of like comedy or hoo-ha-has, like like a female, Asian female comics to look out for.
Look out for you.
And I was like on that list, and I showed it to my dad. And he's like, "Oh, send this to all your aunts and uncles too." So it's like, yeah, and my dad has gone to a bunch of my shows. He went to like all my shows in high school, so he likes
that's
it.
sweet.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, sorry. Just
Yeah.
real quick. I think you said it nice as like they want something concrete because to explain it to their friends or whatever,
Yeah.
to their
Yeah.
relatives, like, well, my son does make-em-ups on like
I know.
he gets a suggestion on stage and,
Doesn't make
and then he
sense.
tries to like I think like at that point they're like don't want to explain it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they do comedy on stage.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the face of that Tito. Like,
Right.
What?
Yeah.
What is this improv thing?
And
I
then
want
just
something
the
right
bamboozlement
there.
of like, but you don't get paid.
Yeah.
Why do you
yeah.
do it?
Just don't get paid.
Yeah, I think it's definitely difficult for parents, to understand. And like, because even with my mom, like, so my parents are also from Leyte. Okay, they're a bunch of beauty queens in my family. They have great skin.
Yeah.
And so like, it's funny because like, you know, I went into the military and I was a nurse for almost a decade. Like I did everything. I even became an ICU nurse.
You
like,
were not old enough to
like,
have done that.
and so it's, you know, I was that kid who did everything my parents told me to do. I followed through. And then, you know, life kind of changed. And I was like, okay, we're here in LA. I'm going to try acting. And I would ask my mom, like, Mom, like, I have an audition, you know, do you think I'm going to get it? And like, I would, you know, like show her my audition. And she'd be like, yeah, anak, you'll get it if nobody else shows up. And I was like, dang! I was like, that's cold.
Savage.
And then, oh, dude, like, yeah. And she's like, anytime I would like talk about it, she'd be like, but you're a nurse. And like, she really like struggled. And I was like, okay, maybe we should just not talk about it.
Wow.
But then I did a skincare line. Yeah. And she's like, oh, anak, that's a good one. And then she like she's like, anak, what was that skincare? I'm going to tell all your aunties and, you know, because our skin. And I'm just like, Jesus. Right? That was the only tangible thing. Like she was like, oh, okay. But you know, if my son is in something, she'll tell the world. But like me, like, of course, you're only a nurse. And I'm like, thankful. You need to go to Filipino AF. You'll see. You'll see your own
Yes,
self
please.
up there.
Thank you.
But your mom was a nurse too, right?
Yeah, my mom, my sister, most of my aunties. I mean, we're mostly medical, and yeah.
So that's why she's so very protective of that nurse. Like you're still in, because to her that you were like, you're. I feel like she was probably like, oh, she's following my footsteps. And
I was like, Mom, you know, like when you were a kid and you had a dream, like of what you wanted to be
a nurse.
Her response was like, I thought she was gonna be like, she would say something, oh, I wanted to be a mother or like something, you know, like that. But she was like, I wanted to be a teacher, and I'm like, okay, great. So like, if Lolo told you that you couldn't be a teacher and you had to be something else, you know, how would you feel about that? And she's like, oh, but I became a nurse. And I'm like, yes, Mom, I got that. It just, there was such disconnect. I was like, I'm just
Weird practice, like, this is how the world works. You do this happens, this.
Dude, I'm so convinced my parents would be like, it's like whatever they're forcing me, like a doctor or whatever. Like they'd be like, well, didn't you have a dream? Yes, to be a doctor. Just to get the point across.
Yeah, when my parents sat me down and had the talk with me, my mom was like, we get it, you know? My mom was like, I wanted to be a writer too. I even had a typewriter, but she wrote for my parents met on the school newspaper. They were both writers.
Wow.
But then my mom was like, but then my father sat me down and he talked some sense into me, and I'm glad he did. And then my dad was like, you know, you can make money and enjoy your job. I do. So yeah. And then when I finally got more into like comedy, then he like got strict about it. He's like, you know, if you want to do comedy, are you watching these late night shows? You need to work on your chops if you're going to be doing this.
He's also a manager.
Here, I wrote you some jokes.
He's slipping it in your
Let me riff with you. Let me riff.
Oh my God.
You call that a joke?
You need the workshop then.
Wow.
Oh man.
But growing up, did you guys like have your family like have you perform in front of like relatives during holidays, that kind of
Or
thing?
the parties.
My uncles were like the funniest people I've ever encountered in my life. Like my uncles and my aunts, like that older generation, they were always just on. Like they were always just cracking jokes. And like I put the two and two together of like they're always cracking jokes, they're having fun, and they were like well liked. And I was like, oh, there's something in comedy that's like that I want to pursue. And it was like from a young age, but dang, no one can tell a joke like my uncles. It's great. Like the timing was fully baked in from age 8 to like now. I learned it like 8 years old at a party or something. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I never performed in front of my family as a young kid. I think because I was the youngest of my group of cousins here in California, and like all my older cousins were like the really funny ones too. Same thing, like my older cousins and my uncles were just always taking over the parties, telling jokes, telling stories. Yeah. So I kind of faded into the background in a way, just kind of watched and like learned comedy from them. And I was kind of secretive about it, I guess, like when I started getting into acting, because a lot of my cousins had like artistic ambitions, like singers, writers. Like I had a cousin who wanted to be a director, things like that. but then I think maybe the pressure of like our parents and my aunts and uncles kind of pushed them more into like corporate regular day jobs. And then I'm like the only one who's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna move to LA, guys. Bye.
This was in 20.
Just like growing up.
Oh, growing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
My parents made me play piano and violin for their friends because I played that growing up. And then when I quit violin, it became this huge thing. Like my aunts would be like, "You know how much your parents spent on your violin?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, $2,400." They tell me that all the time.
Wow, that's cool. Like, just side note, like, was your violin one of those like really
Oh, yeah, it was
everything was
from the
expensive, but like
1800s,
yeah, they
yeah.
have like
Oh my God.
some history.
Wow.
Yeah, I
You got,
found
like,
that out about
vintage.
Yeah, I
violinists.
went to I grew up in Orange County, so we drove all the way up to NoHo from Orange County to a special violin shop with a special violin maker in like the Hollywood Hills, and I like tried out a bunch. It was like hours where I tried out a bunch, and then my parents were like, "Do you like that one?" I was like, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, this one."
Yeah, they have like a whole history to the violin.
Yeah,
so
they tell you about where it's been.
this person died during the Civil War.
I got the cheapest trumpet that like we could find. It was like always like secondhand.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I think when I got I did finally upgrade to a silver trumpet.
Ooh.
And I thought it was
Nice.
I feel like other instruments, like wood instruments, they gotta be a certain like age or quality. Cause,
for sure.
Yeah, I think brass is a little bit less like. Cause if I get a violin that was made like today, it sounds like a toy or like you can kind of hear the difference. But maybe that's just my snooty like violin player talking.
You're the expert. We'll trust you on that one.
Can I just add on real
Yeah.
quick? I just remembered a story. Like, I think the gateway drug for me for performing was karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
I just remembered a time when I was like 10 years old and my dad forced me to sing a karaoke song. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what is this? It's a whole party. And like, I sang the thing. It's like Chicago, if you leave me now. Or something. And then the score is like, I don't know, 65. And then my dad's like, good. And brings me over and it's like, hey, we got to do better. Like, you gotta be a performer and you gotta be better every single time.
Yes.
So
They're grooming you already for the
Already.
start.
Karaoke is a gateway drug to performing.
My first Magic Mike song that I learned was Gloria Gaynor.
Ooh.
First I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was petrified. That song.
Yeah.
And I'll survive.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no,
You're
go
good.
ahead.
Well, actually, real quick, you have a movie that's playing coming up too, right? Or a short film. Like, tell us about it and where.
Oh yeah, it's a fictional story based on my high school friend. I mean, a girl's high school friend who died in a car crash. So it's a comedy.
And I wasn't laughing about the girl who died in a car crash. It was the little
You can
switch
laugh
you
at-
pulled there.
Comedy equals tragedy plus time is a quote that's floating around. But yeah, it's about and her friend comes and visits her in her bedroom at night, and then she eventually learns she has to move on. But yeah, it's inspired by my real life friend in high school who died in a car crash, and but it plays this Friday. This Friday? Oh my gosh.
FilAM
that's
Creatives
fast.
Filmmakers
Yeah.
Night, 9 p.m. in North Hollywood Regency. Check it out. So yeah, I'm really glad that you came and you're having your film play. Like, Filmmakers Night is so important because I personally feel like it's great because it's having actors like yourself and writers like yourself and directors that's also all those guys who are participating or putting their short films in there is getting a chance to like put that face on the silver screen and to get recognition, and I feel like Americans are used to like, or can get used to like Filipino or Asian faces on screen. We just have to create content and put you guys out there. And so like, I mean, what's your thoughts on that too?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I love that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, it's cool to be angry at white people. Like, it feels good and cathartic. But also, like, once then you think about it and you're like, well, some of these people haven't really never seen an Asian besides or very few Asians. Like, it was really interesting. I've been working on my screenplay, and one of the notes I got, it was like, this is a really important story that you're telling, like, very timely, and like, it's great that, tell it for yourself, but also think about that kid in Indiana who this might be the only film that they ever see that tells a story about a dreamer, about whatever. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So it is so important. Like, they just aren't even used to seeing us versus even seeing us as humans, you know. So if we can give them that practice of seeing us as normal people, then I think that'll help.
It makes a big difference because my father was also in the military, so I've lived all around the world and throughout the United States, and oftentimes, like, I think this is the most diverse place I've ever lived in, or maybe the most heavily populated Asian. Well, I also live in West LA, so it's like not as diverse. But we're like, yeah. But anyhow, yeah. And so
They're all
like,
shades of orange in West LA.
there is, and you know, in other parts of the States, like I would be one of 3 Filipinos in my entire class, like my entire graduating class.
Wow.
And so having films like The Debut or I'm trying to think of the other one, but that's the one that just comes to mind right now. Like seeing that on screen, even though it was, you know, like this feature film, indie, like it wasn't heavily, you know, shown throughout the States. I was able to see that in a theater. Or what was the one with, the one where they kill somebody? It's an Asian film.
Oh, Better Luck Tomorrow.
Yes,
Based on my high school.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
When Better Luck Tomorrow came out, you know, because it came out like 2001 or 2002. I mean, that was like even bigger. Like I was like, holy shit, guys! Like we're actually seeing like Asian leads. Like this is insane. And so I can speak for like middle America and middle and nowhere America, that to actually see somebody who looks like you on, you know, the screen is a big deal.
It validates your existence in a way.
Yeah, because people don't know, like I was in Texas, like high school, they were like, hey, Chinese girl. I'm like, I do not look Chinese. Like, I was like,
yeah.
I have like the biggest eyes ever. And so I was just like, really, guys? Or, you know, they would think I'm Japanese, which I'm like, I just, like, or they would think I'm, you know, Hispanic. They just never knew what Filipinos were.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is interesting to think of, like, you know, you want to write for the person who looks like you and needs their representation versus the white person who doesn't know what an Asian person looks like. Because it's like, dude, go on the internet. I can't do the work for you.
Yeah, you're right.
You
It's
know?
not that hard to
I know, because like
expose
even
yourself.
stuff with like Filipino AF, people like my white friends are always like, why don't you bring this to main stage? Why don't you bring this to main stage? And I'm like, I guess it's like this whole conversation of like, we could, and we'd probably get more like the higher ups of the theater would maybe notice us more. But then, like, for me, I've come to the point where like, I don't care anymore. I'm not doing it for like the higher ups at the theater, no offense. But, you know, I want to do it for the people in LA who like want to be around their community and laugh at, you know, our similarities and our common upbringings. And I don't want to have to cater to like white people anymore. You know what I mean?
And is there something to be said of just like letting your audience grow organically too? Right?
Yeah.
Instead of just like, oh well, we're gonna force it and like we're gonna try to like pack a theater or perform to like mainstream audience, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we also like don't like to like have to turn away people. Like we're giving this
I
choice.
freaked out when like tickets sold out.
So that's like a thing of that too, of like it's a like we got almost like these keys were handed to us, and it's like a special thing that we're handling, and like to like turn people away. Not like that's how shows work, whatever. But if we have the chance to pack it in the sanctum and pack it as much as we can,
Yeah.
if we can get 500 people there and we can get food or whatever,
Yeah.
we'll do it because we can. Like, and we're not gonna restrict ourselves to it. Just to add on to your
Yeah,
point,
totally.
why restrict our audience just to the main stage?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
and
like
we've-
the kind of perceived clout that main stage has over inner sanctum, because it doesn't really matter.
And we've been trying to do that too with the performers as well. Like, just we've been trying to have as many people. You know, our show can only be an hour and a half long. So it's always sad every show we can't have as many performers as we'd like and all the representation.
Yeah,
But we're working
yeah.
on it. Like we're trying to feature as many people as we can with every show.
Can y'all tell us about some of the big names that have come through Filipino AF?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've been really fortunate to have Dante Bosco, Nico Santos, Manny Jacinto, Kevin Kamiya, Brent Weinbach,
Yeah.
Tess Paras.
Esparas.
Yeah. A lot of those were.
AJ Raphael.
Oh yeah. A lot of those were through Will. I feel like.
JR does
Oh yeah, Jared de Guzman. Yeah, or like I met AJ on the internet because he watched my YouTube sketch.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
just like random connections, and it's been really cool connecting with people, and then once they
Kimmy.
see this, oh yeah, Kimmy Balmilero
she's
from
amazing.
Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like people with like Tess, she's gone through the UCB program and has been there for a while, and it's very fun to hear her story of like, you know, when she started, it was, you know, just one or two other Filipino people in the whole UCB theater, and then for her to do that show, she's like, wow, there's 300 of us, you know?
Yeah. Eugene Cordero, who's
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of my like comedic idols,
Same.
is like was huge for me because like when I saw like a brown face at UCB theater, I was like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be better than you, but I know I can do something like
Yeah.
in that vein. When we got Eugene, that was like for me, that was like that's for us. I think it's like our first star, and then
yeah.
everything's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
built around Eugene because he's been there from
From
the
the
first show.
beginning?
From the first
Yeah.
show, and then I think it just snowballed in a good way. Like we keep getting good luck with like the big stars. I think yeah.
And then like outside of like the big names, just having good content from like every single performer.
Yeah.
You know, we've not had a bad show. Every show has been, like, not even being biased. Like every show has been like top to bottom, just so good and so funny, and it just blows me away every time at how talented everyone is. You know.
Also, like putting that show on in the inner sanctum, and not as a pat to our back. It's like it's not the easiest to produce that show on the fly. So it's a testament to all the talent who is like super like patient and super like down for it to be like, oh, okay, we don't really know what's gonna happen in this next bit. We gotta rearrange on the fly, and they're like big stars, and we're like, okay, it's fine, no worries. There's no like.
Yeah, we're like,
Ego
oh,
is
we don't
like-
have a green room,
Oh.
sorry.
We're all
No
out there.
divas.
All the costumes are gonna be changed.
You're
right
gonna sit in
there.
the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call you at some point because me and Allyn and Joy are riffing on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to run on schedule, but we might be behind.
Yeah, just kind of
Yeah.
listen.
But, like
listen.
everyone of the stars, everyone of the talent has just been so like 100%
Yeah.
Down.
on board for the cause.
Yeah.
So awesome. Now, wondering like if you guys do you have plans or will perform or plans to perform or have performed in Daly City?
Oh, my dream! But I'd love to
There's
take
a lot
this on the
Filipinos
road. I know.
Gosh,
I've
my
never- I've never
ex-boyfriend
been.
is there.
Just kidding. We won't go.
Just cancel the show because her ex-boyfriend's there. Yeah.
That would be amazing, though.
No, maybe not Daly City. I know
My
SF
zip-
Sketch Fest.
Oh yeah,
entries
the
are
sketch
open.
fest. We
could
were gonna
probably-
try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could finally do my area code sketch.
Yeah, there you go.
How big is the cast?
Oh, it varies. Obviously, we're the core, and then our improv team that has been every show's like 10 people.
Yeah.
10 people.
And that has kind of been growing because we wanted it to be like all the people who have been on a Herald or Mess Hall house team at UCB, and like especially because Mess Hall's every 6 months, we're just kind of like, okay, there's 2 or 3 new Filipino people on Mess Hall teams. Let's just add them in. 'Cause for me, at least, I'm just like, there's room for all of us. We could all,
Oh, yeah.
we could all jam up there
Yeah.
and have fun.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it turns out to be like maybe 25 or 30 performers.
Yeah.
per-
Yeah,
On
because it
average.
seems like a ton more than.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have like our core group of people that we always go to.
It's like Wu-Tang.
It's like
I will nod and pretend to understand this.
You were from OC.
Or is it that I wouldn't know?
Because you're an OC.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
I'm not offended. It's true.
It's like a Arcade Fire.
I know
Just
of them,
a
but-
bunch of people.
I got Arcade Fire. Oh man, I had the whitest taste.
I've ever seen you laugh as hard as now. Even in all of our shows.
I had the whitest
Arcade
taste
Fire
of
that
music
got
growing up. I listen to Arcade Fire and Weezer and all of the white people stuff.
Yeah. Hey, for the people who might not be familiar with improv, maybe one of you guys can answer like, what is improv, and then maybe someone can ask like, what are the stages? And, like, Like, and then how do you become?
A lot of inside baseball talk.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what the inner sanctum is.
Yeah, they think it's like Doctor Strange.
I know.
No, that is Doctor Strange's.
I guess so. The UCB Theater, Upright Citizens Brigade, started in New York, and then they have
Starting
By
Chicago.
Amy Poehler and Matt Walsh.
Matt Besser, Ian Roberts. They started their theater in New York. They have 2 there. Then they brought it to LA. They have 2 theaters here, and so like the improv program
Improv is
is made up acting.
yeah, there's like forms that you can do, or you can just get up there and do whatever.
Yeah, it's like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but without like the games. So just like the improvised scenes of people talking.
It's long form. So
Long form,
yeah,
yeah.
so it goes beyond the props part
Yeah.
of like whose line is it anyway? It's like, oh, who are these people? It's like you're basically writing a show on your feet
Exactly.
or a play on your feet.
Yeah.
And little scenes of the play.
And then, yeah, and it's basically just responding and just fast thinking, right? And it's,
Yeah.
and establishing the scene with your own, like, with how you guys describe it.
Building a world almost.
Yeah, there you go,
Here,
building
yeah.
a world. But education-wise, like, how did you guys start? Like, and then, explain to folks like what the Harold and Maude team is and how do you form a team like.
So real quick too, Allyn and I are both on the same Herald team together. A
And I
Filipino and a Filipina, so check us out. Monda
Monda
Green,
Harold Knight.
Herald Night. We're up Friday,
This
6:30
Friday,
at UCB Franklin.
Yeah. So the Herald
pretty
is like
cool.
a improv form that was created by Del Close. I guess so. UCB, you go through the core classes 101, 201, 401, and then after 401, you can audition for their house teams, the Herald teams. And like every year, it's like this stressful couple months where everyone's like preparing.
It's coming up now.
Yeah, it's coming up now. And then a couple years ago, they started like the mess hall teams, which are kind of like JV,
like JV
Herald
Herald teams,
teams.
yeah.
And so, oh man, explaining the community sounds so insane because it's like something that we're so entrenched in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like
So-
you work hard to get on these teams.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Were you guys nervous the first time you guys took a class or, performed on stage?
I don't think if I was nervous. I think I was just stupid. I think I just like did not know any better, and I was just making a ton of like dumb moves and not listening and like not taking the note after the show. And then you learn after 201 really it's like, oh, you have to like listen to your scene partner. What's the scene about? Like, how do I add on to the scene that's already here instead of just adding on my funny idea?
Yeah.
Because I think improv, when it's like truly magical, is when people are like really listening and they're all like it's just moving lockstep.
Yeah. Where it truly does look like you're watching like a scripted play.
A scripted play.
I think
Like,
that's kind of the goal.
Wow,
like
so
that.
in sync.
Yeah,
It's not culty. I know it sounds like it.
You take
It's a
classes.
little culty.
It's a little. It truly is.
Yeah, that listening part, it almost seems like it's such a great
A life skill.
It is.
Oh,
to
yeah.
have. And I will say, like, one of the funniest things that I saw was the vampire. The vampire.
Oh, Bernard Badian's movie. Isn't that screening this Friday too?
Oh no.
Jason.
No, I'm talking
No,
about
no.
during Filipino AF.
Oh, the main stage one, right? Main stage show.
Yeah, it was the main stage
When
one.
Eugene walked
Oh,
down.
yeah,
the Dinuguan.
yeah. That
See,
vampire.
that's right. He just started talking about Dinuguan.
Oh
Yeah, and it just like it was so magical for me watching all of that because like if you're not really listening, you're right. Like you're gonna miss like these cues and like these
That's
perfect
true.
opportunities. And I was like dying laughing. Me and Mary Grant, oh my god, we were the loudest girls in the
We love it.
We were
love it.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
were in
free
the
everyone
second
else
row.
to
No,
laugh.
we were in the first row.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that was that moment where I was on the back line and I just heard Eugene say something about like, what are we, vampires? And so I ran with that and came in and like started to try to bite his neck to turn him into a vampire. And it just kind of went crazy from there, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
Was it? was that the same sketch too? Sorry, but trying to grab the legs.
Yes, it was the
That was
legs.
Vince. That was Vince.
Yeah, man.
Vince like did a move where it was like doing something. I think he was
like
like
picking
awkwardly
him up
trying to do a
or- yeah,
thing. And I've watched that clip so many times where Eugene's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Wait, why are you holding my legs? And like redirecting an entire crowd of
Yeah.
like, that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I will say though, like I was at Cinema Sala when you were performing with Cinegang, and I thought you guys did such an awesome job. That was hilarious. Like it was such a small, it was like everyone was out for the weekend, but it was a small like group, but man, we were laughing our asses off.
Oh, it was
like,
such a fun set.
yeah, that was great. And you guys were like, I felt like you guys were in sync, and even was that one guy.
Oh, Kevin Ocampo. Yeah, no, none of them knew him. The rest of Albert and Vince.
Does
they
Kevin
didn't
have
know
a
him.
mustache?
Yeah. Oh, he's so
I've seen
funny.
him perform. He's so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to get him up at Filipino AF.
It's like
Yeah, I know that name.
He's so
the
good.
Vegas qualifier. Does he have a mustache?
But yeah, he had just jumped in that day, and our other teammates didn't know him. But improv is like a common language, and if you all know it, then we can all build a sentence.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
best part. Like, I think if you are thinking about taking improv class to be a writer, or like if you're interested in writing, take improv class because it makes writing dialogue so much easier. It's like, oh, this is what they want. They're just blah, 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 blah. I mean, structure that's its whole different beast, but dialogue's gonna come to you so easy.
Well,
if you take improv.
I even tell people like if you just as like what you guys were saying earlier, life skill and just like whether for work, just to be able to speak publicly or just be able to learn how to listen to your coworkers, whatever. Like, because I've done I did 201, I still have to do 301. But like just picking it up helped me like outside of performance or like in the entertainment industry. And I'm like this is something people should learn, or even like I feel like high school kids should learn, like how to learn how to listen and communicate.
Were there improv programs at your high schools?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's where I started with comedy sports short form.
Wow.
I think there was comedy sports in my high school, but I didn't do it because I was pre-med at that time, and I wrote for the school newspaper.
I was captain my senior year.
Wow.
And Eric?
There was free improv workshops being taught like my junior year. So it's huge just getting that training at that age.
Yeah.
I
One
agree
of
with you.
us.
Join improv.
Drink the
Sign up for
Kool-Aid.
UCB.
Drink that Kool-Aid.
It's not a cult though.
It's not. It's
Making
not.
sure.
It's not. You could get out anytime if you want.
Yeah. But if you want to advance, just pay a little more money. That's all.
Which is what I've also found interesting. Like I recently took a tour of JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories.
yeah.
It was a really cool tour, and it's just funny because over there, like a lot of schools or universities, they're like pushing STEM, but over there they push STEAM, and science, technology, engineering, and math. But instead of just math, like A is for arts.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
great.
I love that.
and I was like, man, I just wish, a lot of more schools or public education, had improv or some form of
Yeah, 'cause
art,
I don't
like
think my
push
high
arts.
school. I don't think it was like a thing at our school.
Yeah,
We should teach improv workshops to jail people.
Oh my god,
Prisoners?
seriously.
Yeah, I would
Seriously, that
actually
would, like,
be.
that would be really
That's a
That'd be
great
kinda fun.
idea.
I would
Get
love
on
to see
that.
what their scenes are like too.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so cathartic for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be really healing because I think
It's like cheap
humor is the best
therapy.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or expensive therapy if you keep taking classes.
yeah, that's a great
Be
idea.
so interesting to
great.
do.
Maximum or minimum level?
Obviously, maximum. Obviously, solitary confinement, people.
You're
do
not
one job.
listening. You're not taking the note.
Choose to know.
Time out.
What I do love about like my time in improv too was just the awkward moments. Like you're saying, there's the people who are just trying to be funny and it never really works, right? Like I just remember this one guy in my improv class. Like for some reason, it just went into sex for some reason for him. Like
It's more often than not.
I know.
I mean,
Is it a white
please-
guy? Or is it a tall white guy?
I can't speak on it, but like as females and
It
as an
always
improviser,
does, yeah.
it comes up.
Yeah. I'm at a point now where I can kind of deflect it, but I know coming up it'd just be kind of like, ugh, how do we get out of this? And then they always bring it back.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say thank you guys for coming and talking with us and sharing your stories and
thank you.
sharing your success with Filipino AF. You know, like, I love all you guys. I love what you guys do. I love the performance. Keep it up. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, this is like awesome, you guys. Like, we are so thankful, and you know, we're always going to keep supporting you guys. And you know, a win for you guys is a win for all of us across the states in the Philippines. Like, it's huge. So kudos to you guys, and we wish you guys the best. So
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
means a lot
much.
coming
Thank you for
from
doing
you.
this. Thank you for
I know,
amplifying
it's
our
so
voice.
great. Yeah.
let's hang in Hawaii, guys.
Yeah.
and real quick, let people know how they can follow you or stalk you or send you, DM you.
Cool. So you can stalk me on Instagram at Erich Tamola, ErichTamola.
Cool. Yeah. Follow me on Twitter. I think my handle is OH, the number 1, DEAR. Oh dear. But please also follow me on Instagram. I've only got 600 followers. I'm at Hey Allyn, HeyAllyn. And also give Filipino AF Instagram a follow and our Twitter.
I'm just Joy Regullano on Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I only have 3,600 followers on Twitter. But
Humble brag. Wow.
no, but please follow me. And you can find me on YouTube. If you search the sketch White Fetish, then you will find my sketch. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
thank you guys so much for watching another episode of FilAM Creative Voices. I'm Arlyn de la Pena.
I'm Walter Talents. You can catch these guys in the next Filipino AF show. You can catch Joy in her movie. What's the title again?
I Won't Miss You.
I Won't Miss You. Check it out. And again, thank you for watching FilAM Creative's Voices. I'm Walter,
And I'm Arlyn.
and you're watching Voices.
Peace.
Today's episode brought to you by the good folks at Filipino Worker Center. From the heart of historic Filipino town, PWC focuses on providing programs that help meet the immediate needs of workers and their families, while at the same time building their leadership to take collective action for long-lasting change.